Hello guys, welcome back. Time for game number 2 between WhiteRa and Strelock. So I had introduced these players before, but if you didn't catch game number 1, this is Duckload Duckload being a sponsor. He is previously known as WhiteRa, and Mouse is Strelock. So Protoss versus Terran. The map in this particular game is going to be Delta Quadrant. Let's talk about the map for a moment. We do have this natural expansion right inside of your base. You do of course have to destroy these destructible debris to get to it. Now because of that, a lot of players tend to not want to waste the time and spend the time if they're going for an early expansion trying to get rid of these destructible debris. It just takes too much time early on the game with so few units. Now as a result, many players end up doing any fast expansions to this position right up front here. So again, avoiding those destructible debris and then moving into here. And then the third likely expansion is going to be this high yield. Now of course you do have to contend, that's the word I'm looking for, with these destructible debris as well. Lots of high yields on this particular map. In fact, to be exact, there are 4 high yield mineral patches. Now this is a very interesting map, also a very abusive map. There's lots of high grounds to abuse. There's lots of air space to abuse as well, with any sort of dropping or any sort of air units. Again, the Banshees and Void Rays are what we would be likely seeing in this type of matchup. Both players are going to be opening up with a standard opening, which is precisely what I expect. Strelock coming down with his barracks right now. And over here for WhiteRa, we are seeing that gateway finally come down. So great match. Now, I do want to let you know that this is a 3-game series. The first game you can be seen prior to this, and you will have a link to that as well below. And on top of that, there's going to be another game right after this. Again, 3-game series. This is the second, so obviously there would be a third. We're going to be following WhiteRa's probe around right now because I hate the beginning of these games. There's absolutely 0 things to talk about. I can talk about the scenery, I can talk about stupid things like this Vespian, although people don't like how I pronounce that word, so too bad, deal with it. And over here for Strelock, that barracks is finished, and we are seeing a Marine on its way out, also coming out with this orbital command. So again, very, very standard opening. Over here, seeing some pylon placement in this particular corner. This is going to allow him to warp in units and defend quite easily in this position. Also going to allow him to see any sort of harassment coming from his opponent. Coming down with that Cybernetics core right now as well. Looks like Strelock is going to be going pretty barracks heavy, relying on some Marines and Marauders early game. Obviously a good decision since they are so very strong in this matchup. Strelock still not quite sure where his opponent is. He hasn't scouted out WhiteRa's base yet. He's going to see that probably momentarily. You can see that SCV is queued up to be right inside of his base, but not before that Zealot's going to be out. So he might take a punch-in or 2 from that Zealot on his way into the base. And then, of course, right after that, he is going to have to worry about the Stalker, which is coming right now. Warp Gate research coming in as well. Let's see how this SCV does. You can micro around that Zealot. I believe in you. And, oh, good micro from WhiteRa, taking an extra shot on that SCV. It was because of that micro he was able to attack secondary attack, and he might be able to get him on the way out as well. Back inside of Strelock's base, that was a reactor going down and not a tech lab initially, so opening up with the reactor, and yeah, want to avoid that Zealot. I think if he plays smart, he's going to do a pretty good job of taking out that SCV without much of an issue. If we see that micro again, and if WhiteRa's paying enough attention. So opening up with the reactor, want to get some early Marines, pretty heavy. Tech lab finally coming down as well. No additional buildings as of yet. Blocking off the back because he is worried. If you put a pylon right here, you can warp into the back of someone's base. Very, very abusive, and Strelock doesn't want to deal with that, basically. So where did that SCV go? Is it still kind of hanging around? No, it must have died. I missed it. I am very sorry that I missed that SCV dying, but know that he died. I think the Zealot may have gotten his victory. No, it was the Stalker. In fact, you see the 1 kill going down for the Stalker. So some early aggression, if nothing else, grabbing the Naga Tower for Strelock here, coming down with a Marauder as well, and a few more Marines and an SCV. So we are going to be seeing that early aggression. Again, that 2-gate push is what we're seeing right now. Those are barracks, not gateways. So we are seeing that 2 barracks push right now from Strelock. Going to be trying to move into WhiteRa's base. Now, WhiteRa does not have his first sentry out, so he might have a hard time dealing with this push. You want to get out that early sentry to avoid losing to stuff like this. He should be okay though. He does have some units coming out. He does have another Zealot right now, and he could pull down some probes if necessary, but with no sentry, not being able to force field, it means that some damage will be dealt here from Strelock. Moving forward with the Marines and Marauders, he just has to basically micro away. We do have concussive shell here for the Marauder, so that helps quite a bit. Wants to kill this SCV to stop this bunker from going up. Lots of damage going to be taken here from WhiteRa, though. If Strelock continues to be aggressive and continues to push forward, he should be able to do a fair amount of damage, quite easily being able to take out those Zealots without a problem. Again, that concussive shell is the reason he's able to do that. If he can manage to take down a building, then WhiteRa is going to be in a lot of trouble. Reinforcement units arriving, a Marauder and 2 Marines, additional Marauders and Marines being pushed out right now. Looks like Strelock is going all in for this. Not really all in, but he's definitely playing very, very aggressively here, and he is continuing to reinforce. And again, that concussive shell is really what makes the difference this early in the game, slowing down those zealots. Wants to take down that immortal as quickly as possible. That can be very devastating to his marauders. Ooh, just barely saves that life of the marauder, and I think he's going to get this robotics facility. We are seeing some more print of zealots, but again, that's not going to be enough against these marauders. Concussive shell is just too devastating, and the robotics does go down, trying to chase down his units, but Strelock is just going to continue to micro. He's being very wise here, trying to capitalize on this as well by coming down with this command center. So he's going to try to take advantage of the amount of damage that he's doing right now. And it looks like WhiteRa is in a lot of trouble. Going to be warping in some stalkers right now as well. The zealot's going to drop pretty quickly due to that concussive shell. Needing to defend with all of his probes, pulling everything off the line. WhiteRa is going to want to try to get us around, but there are just way too many Marines and Marauders. And as long as Strelock is smart and continues to micro, he should have no problem killing almost all of WhiteRa probes. And that is the end of the game. WhiteRa does, of course, have to leave. He just lost pretty much everything due to that push. Now, this is kind of a cautionary tale for you Protoss players. Early pushes like this are likely to kill you if the Terran player is smart. What you need to do is early game, and I know WhiteRa knows this. I'm not discrediting WhiteRa at all. He just didn't happen to do it this game, and it bit him in the butt. But you really need that early game sentry to be able to force field to stop yourself from losing to pushes like this, because again, you can see just how effective it is, the Marine and Marauder early game against the small amount of Protoss units. So yeah, good game between these two players, and we're going to be moving on to game number 3 in a short moment. So yeah, look forward to that as well. And as always, guys, this has been Force from Force Strategy Gaming. If you like our content, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Thanks again, and keep watching and keep owning. Expansion is coming down right now for Strelock. Observer going to be moving out, so he's going to be aware regardless of the fact that that's happening. Once that observer moves in, of course, he's going to, again, be fully aware of the fact that this orbital command will be dropping down. And then that's when WhiteRa is going to be faced with the decision, do I attack or...